a story time about when one person at my school almost found out about my YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. One day in my world history class, we got new seats. And my seat didn't change, but this one girl who was usually sat across the room was moving right next to me. So I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, well, this is gonna be really awkward because most of the time with anybody that I'm sitting next to or see, or I'm just socially awkward. So I just kind of like sit there and don't say anything. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be really awkward. I'm just gonna sit here, but it's okay. That's what it was like before anyway. So it was actually pretty nice. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not like best pals with her or anything, but like, you know, it's not awkward. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I've been sick recently. I'm still a little sick. This happened like a couple days ago too. What the fuck? Yo, leave me alone, Mo. What the heck, bro? Oh my god! Anyways, like I was saying, I'm sick this one day, and so I'm chilling one day, and we're at lunch, and we eat lunch, like, in the room. So I was sitting next to her, and we weren't, like, talking. I was just, like, chilling on my phone, looking at my YouTube studio, and one thing I do, when I'm looking at my YouTube studio in school, I, like, turn my brightness, like, really low, so people don't, like, see it. So I'm not trying to have a scenario like what's gonna happen later happen. And so I'm just like, okay, I mean, she's probably not gonna see it or anything. So then she looks over at my phone, and she goes, who are you texting? I was like, and then she like looked over and she was like, oh, you're not texting, you're looking at YouTube? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, do YouTube? I was like, sometimes. I'm just so awkward. I don't know why I'm so awkward, I just am. But then she was like, how many views you get? I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to tell her how many views I get, but I was like, what's the worst that could happen? And so I'm just like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna tell her. I load up my views, I go over to them, I click on them, so it says 18 million, right? And I'm like 18 million. And she goes, 18 million? There ain't no way you have 18 million views. What's your channel name? What's your YouTube name? I'm like, I don't want to tell her. Because she seems like the kind of person to keep her phone on full volume with her ringer on all the time. So, like, I'm not about to let her just, like, blast my videos in front of everyone, obviously. So, what I do is I just kind of, like, sit there. I'm like, and she's like, what's your YouTube name, huh? What's your freaking YouTube name? I'm like, I just kind of don't say anything. I say, I don't know. And she's like, what? No, what's your YouTube name? And she's like, you speak up, I can't hear you. And I'm like, then she goes, all right, then man, there ain't no way you got 18 million views. And I'm like, I just kind of sit there the whole time. But then my teacher butts in and goes, you'd be surprised, I hear he's pretty popular. I was like, what? Like, I don't think he even knew what he was talking about. He was just saying it. And then she keeps going like, hey, no, what's your YouTube name? What's your YouTube name? I'm still sitting there, and I go, it's a secret. And then she just kind of goes, whoa, what is it? What is it? And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell her. I don't want to tell her. And keep in mind, this whole time, I'm sick, right? I go out of my YouTube Studio app and kind of just like go to like a game on my phone, like Stickman Hook or something. And I start playing that so that she doesn't see my YouTube Studio anymore. And then I just kind of like ignore her while she's like screaming, what's your YouTube name? Hey, no way you have 18 million views. What the hell? Go away. Hey, oh my god, go. And then my teacher's like, maybe he's just being respectful. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm just being respectful. I don't even know what he meant really by that. Like, maybe he meant like I'm not trying to like flex on her and be like, yo, look, I have 18 million views on YouTube, 50K subscribers. What you got? Obviously, I was not trying to do that. And I'm not even joking. After that, she literally just completely abandoned it. She just like didn't even say anything about it anymore. She just like kind of sat there and just like started playing on her phone. I was like, she's just gonna like give it up that easily after just like yelling at me about it for like. And keep in mind, the whole time she's yelling at me about it, we're in the middle of my classroom, and like it's lunchtime, so people are talking, but they're not talking loudly. They're just kind of like, yeah. And then I went to this after I did that this weekend, and I'm like, yo, chill. Like, everyone's staring at me while she's screaming at me, what's your freaking YouTube name, man? I want to know. There's no way you have 18 million views. I'm like, dude, chill. She kind of just abandons it, surprisingly. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna question it. We're just gonna go along with it, and we're not gonna bring it up. I had this like thing. I was like, what if I just like at the end of class just like walked by and said HyperGamezYT and just like saw what she did? And if you're watching this person at school, then hi. I don't know. I don't think you found my channel. And also to my teacher who was in this whole scenario, if you're somehow watching this, which I don't think that he is, but then again, he did say I hear he's pretty popular. So I don't know if he actually knew, but hey, we're gonna let's make a name of Mr. Tom. That's not his real name, but Mr. Tom, if you're watching, sup. So that's kind of the story about how someone at my school almost found my channel. I'm just glad. What the fuck? Why? All right, well, now we try to win this game of bedwars, I guess. Oh, that wasn't that cool. I'm a noob at bedwars, so there's a high probability we're gonna shit. Please leave me the I can't even scream. I'm still sick. All I have to say is, well, I'm glad I didn't tell her my name.